This afternoon on CTV News at 5, a judge acquits all 5 players in the Hockey Canada sexual assault trial. Plus, the world of professional wrestling says farewell to a legend. Hulk Hogan, the WWE superstar who took the sport mainstream, has died of cardiac arrest. And as nicotine pouches' popularity soars, a new study finds they're also responsible for more poisonings in young kids. The concern from public health officials. CTV News at 5 starts right now. Good afternoon. We begin with breaking news out of London this afternoon, where 5 former Canada World Junior hockey players have been found not guilty of sexual assault. It stems from an alleged incident in 2018 where a woman, publicly known as EM, claimed she was sexually assaulted in a London hotel room while the players were in town celebrating a World Junior Championship victory. CTV's Heather Setterin has been following the trial and has local reaction as well. Heather, the judge delivered her decision this afternoon, weeks after legal arguments wrapped up.
And 7 years after the alleged incident, Leanne, this morning, Justice Maria Caracia told the court that EM's testimony was not credible. The 5 players, Dylan Dubé, Cal Foote, Carter Hart, Michael McLeod, and Alex Fermenton, were each found not guilty of sexual assault. The alleged sexual assault took place at a London hotel in June 2018 after a hockey...
The following is a message from the Canadian National Public Alerting System.
At 5:01 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time Thursday, Environment Canada has issued a tornado warning for northeastern Ontario. Extra care and attention should be exercised in and around the following localities: North Bay, Powassan, and Mattawa. Environment Canada meteorologists are tracking a severe thunderstorm that is possibly producing a tornado. Damaging winds, large hail, and locally intense rainfall are also possible. Take cover immediately if threatening weather approaches. Please consult local media for more information.
Consent. Coming up at 6, a Sexual Assault Support Center's executive director talks with us about consent and about why she thinks sports culture can sometimes bring...
The following is a message from the Canadian National Public Alerting System.
At 5:01 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time Thursday, Environment Canada has issued a marine tornado warning for recreational marine waters Ontario. Extra care and attention should be exercised in the following marine areas: Lake Nipissing. Environment Canada meteorologists are tracking a severe thunderstorm that is possibly producing a tornado. Damaging winds, large hail, and locally intense rainfall are also possible. Tornadoes are often wrapped in rain and may not be visible. Take cover immediately if threatening weather approaches.
Were canceled. A lawyer who is not involved in this case says sometimes these labor relations matters take years to resolve.
Justice sometimes moves slowly, and so it's not a quick and expeditious process at times because they are complex. And you're dealing with complex issues, and you're dealing with the officer's health and well-being, his mental state at the time and now.
CTV's Krista Simpson will have more on the case at 6. Also tonight, a high-risk offender has once again been released from custody in Guelph. 36-year-old Medhani Johans pleaded guilty to 2 charges at a Guelph courthouse earlier today before being sentenced to time served and then being allowed to walk free. Less than an hour later, Guelph police put out a warning to the public. CTV's Karis Mapp will have more at 6. Leanne, for now, back to you.
Okay, Tony, thanks very much. And as we turn to the forecast, Alex joins me. Whew, hot one out there today. Oh my goodness.
Hot, humid. Well, we probably straightened our hair several times today.
Yeah, it's just
doesn't matter.
It's not staying.
It is not staying. No, today's definitely a nice day if you want to be by the water, but hopefully you had a chance to maybe get outside to cool off, because we could be in for a little bit of active weather for us here in Kitchener-Waterloo. Many areas across southwestern Ontario under that severe thunderstorm watch this hour. You may have also noticed on the screen there some areas in northeastern Ontario under a tornado warning this hour as well. So yeah, it is ever moving, ever changing. And right now, though, across Kitchener-Waterloo, we are seeing still some sunshine out there, but it is hot, it is humid, and yeah, that chance of showers expected to be on the way a little bit later on. Right now, 33 degrees here in KW, 32 rather in London. A little bit cooler if you're by the water, if you want to stay cool, but feeling more like the 40s with that humidex. So yes, it is hot, it is humid, that is for sure. And as we take a live look outside this hour from Waterloo, the splash pad there at the park, yeah, these kids have the right idea. I think I'd rather be there.
Oh my goodness, that is the place to be. That's the only way to cool off if you're by the water, because if not, it just feels way too sticky stepping outside.
Before the rain comes, so now's probably a good time.
They've got the right idea in Waterloo Park this evening. All right, we'll take a quick break and tell you what you need to know. Rain or shine, the Wayback Festival is on this weekend in downtown Kitchener. The festivities kicking off tomorrow at 7 p.m. and the party continues Saturday starting at 4. You can enjoy the free music, food trucks, and a great atmosphere. It's all happening at Carl's Air Square in downtown Kitchener. City officials in Waterloo, Kitchener, and Cambridge say cameras used to live stream sporting events were active without their knowledge during summer camp programs. The equipment is owned and operated by Live Barn Incorporated as part of the municipality's streaming partnerships with minor and amateur sports. City staff say since being notified, cameras in their facilities have been turned off. Live Barn also blocked access to online video in the impacted facilities. Ontario's Privacy Commissioner has also been contacted and is in the early stages of gathering information. The Office of the Commissioner says it cannot share additional details at this time, but Live Barn may be subject to federal privacy laws overseen by the Office of the Privacy Commissioner of Canada. The Sanguine Health Centre marking World Hepatitis Day with an event in Uptown Waterloo this afternoon. The free community event included live music, art activities, harm reduction, education, pizza, giveaways, and on-site hepatitis C testing. The goal, to raise awareness about hepatitis C and the importance of harm reduction and equitable care. Sanguine will host another event to mark the day in Guelph at St. George's Square on Monday from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. As nicotine pouches' popularity soars, a new study finds they're also responsible for more poisonings in young kids. Let's discuss with Dr. Matthew Tenenbaum, the Associate Medical Officer of Health in Wellington, Dufferin, Guelph. Great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me today.
So this is based on American research, and according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, nicotine pouches have actually become the second most used nicotine product among young people. I want to talk about your concerns and what awareness this is flagging for public health officials.
Yeah, so nicotine pouches, they can be a great thing for people who have existing nicotine addiction. They can be, great alternatives to getting their nicotine through cigarettes and other tobacco products. For some people, these are really helpful ways to control nicotine addiction. Unfortunately, there are harms when people who don't actually need that nicotine use these things recreationally. We saw a lot of concern, including from ourselves, over the past couple of years as these began to be part of the market in Canada. Initially, they were very easy to access. There have since been some regulations to make them harder to access, but there's still things that people can access from pharmacies. There's still things that people might find in their home if they have a family member who uses them. And unfortunately, they are among the things that young people might try to experiment with and use even if they don't have an existing nicotine addiction.
Can you explain exactly what nicotine pouch poisoning is?
Sure. So nicotine pouches, they contain nicotine, which of course people are probably aware is an addictive chemical. The idea is for people who have a craving, an addiction, it can be helpful in managing that addiction. But for someone who doesn't have an addiction, if they put that nicotine pouch in their mouth, they're still getting that nicotine coming out into their mouth, being absorbed in their body. And that of course has impacts on different systems in their body. It can make them feel nauseous, make them, have dizziness or headaches, make them feel unwell. And of course, in larger quantities, we are concerned about things like significant impacts on the heart and the lungs. There have been cases of people who have had to go to hospital, including the ICU, because of high levels of nicotine they were exposed to from these pouches. And unfortunately, young people are at particular risk because they're smaller, their bodies work differently, and the amount of nicotine that a pouch contains is greater proportionally for someone who's small and young.
Yeah, and we're talking about poisoning in small young kids. So what are some of the early on symptoms that parents or caregivers should be aware of if their child is facing nicotine poisoning? Just those early symptoms to watch for.
So key things early on that might appear is, nausea, vomiting, stomach upset. If your kid is old enough to be able to communicate this, they might tell you that they're feeling tired or dizzy or that they have a headache. And they might also appear pale to you. Again, depending on the age of the kid, they might be able to tell you this or not, but they will appear unwell, and it won't be obvious that it's nicotine because it'll mimic other kinds of illnesses they could have.
If parents maybe suspect their kids are using these types of pouches, how can they stay a bit more vigilant, or what should they watch for in their kids' behavior?
So I guess the key thing is, if you are, a family that has these pouches in the home, because, for example, someone is trying to quit their habit of smoking cigarettes, it's important to keep these things, secure, locked up, just like any other pharmaceutical that you'd have, and not make them easily accessible, because that is how it can end up in the hands of young people who are curious and want to try it with their friends. So that's thing number one that parents and families can do. And it is important as part of, your child or teen's development to try and have ongoing conversations with them about what kinds of things they're interested in trying or curious about, what kinds of things they're seeing their friends doing or using when they're at parties or social events. It isn't just about nicotine pouches, because there are other things like cough syrups and different kinds of substances that kids use when they're with their friends as well. This is just one extra thing that parents may not be thinking about that they can ask their kids about. But ideally, it's part of an ongoing conversation about what their child is curious about and thinking about, and what attitudes they have towards things like nicotine pouches and other substances that they're exposed to.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to bring up as well. Great topic, great chat. Dr. Tenenbaum, thank you so much for your time. Dr. Matthew Tenenbaum is the Associate Medical Officer of Health in Wellington, Dufferin Guelph. Thanks again.
Thank you very much.
Take it a break and tell you what you need to know. Calling all butter tart and hot sauce lovers, Elmira is the place to be this weekend for the Love of Butter Tarts Festival. Check it out from 10 until 4 at the Woolwich Memorial Center. Tickets can be purchased online. Stay with us. It is so hot outside. We're laughing during the commercial because we're getting a little loopy from the heat.
We are. It takes us a moment. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that.
The heat will do that sometimes.
I think everyone's probably feeling that way. It is so hot, so humid. I am so jealous of you if you have a pool today, because that's what I would love to be doing.
That is where you want to be, especially this afternoon before we start to see that wet weather roll in. And if you can't be by a pool, maybe a splash pad will do. And that's just what some are doing at Waterloo Park this hour. Yeah, those kids know what is up, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's okay. I could go for a little run in the splash pad right about now. Just seeing a few clouds. We are still seeing that sunshine, blue sky. But yes, conditions could change as we get a little bit later into the evening and the overnight hours, where we could be in for a bit of active weather. But yes, it is a hot day, a humid day. we've got several watches, several warnings in place on and off issued by Environment and Climate Change Canada as well today. So starting with that severe thunderstorm watch, much of southwestern Ontario, including us here in Kitchener-Waterloo, we could see wind gusts up to 110 kilometers an hour at times. Torrential rain also possible. We could see more than 50 millimeters of rain and potentially nickel-sized hail when we are under a watch like this. Now, when we look at warnings, so the area in the red there, Tobermory, Port Elgin, Bruce Peninsula National Park, to name a few, you are under that severe thunderstorm warning this hour. So too, torrential rainfall, possibly 75 millimeters of rain could be accumulated there. Wind gusts up to 90 kilometers an hour. And if you are even further north, a tornado warning this hour for North Bay Area. So if you have a cottage maybe up there, just something to keep in mind. Right now we are mentioning just a bit of cloud cover for us here in Kitchener-Waterloo, but take a look at all that green, and we've got some red and some yellow headed our way as well. Around 8 o'clock or so this evening, that's where we could start to see some heavier rainfall here in Waterloo region, Mount Forest as well, if you are going to be North Barrie area, Orillia, before that is expected to pass a little bit later or so. We could get a break around 11 o'clock or so tonight. Overnight, though, some scattered showers expected. Chance of a thunderstorm is going to be sticking with us before we see a little bit of cloud cover expected to break getting into your Friday. And then, yeah, we could see a little bit more sunshine on and off, but some more cloud cover expected before we get into your Saturday, when we could see another round for some wet weather. So it is hot, humid, 32 here in Kitchener-Waterloo right now. Slightly cooler, not by much though, if you are by the water this hour. With that humidex, feels like 41 here in KW, and we are definitely feeling that. So we are above normal for this time of year. We should be sitting around that 26-degree mark, sitting around that record as well. That was issued in 1918, 33 degrees, record low 7.6. That was back in 2004, and that sun now rising just after 6 o'clock in the morning. So overnight, not getting much relief from that heat. 21 chance of that showers and potentially that risk of a thunderstorm sticking with us. Tomorrow, it could feel closer to 37 with the humidex. Mainly cloudy, and again that chance of showers is going to be sticking with us as well. So over the next few days and looking ahead at your weekend, you might want to keep that umbrella nearby. Just a chance of showers for your Friday, Saturday, and your Sunday. So 40% chance we are seeing at this point. We could see between 28 and up to 29 degrees, but again, it's still going to feel pretty humid.
Sad news for fans of professional wrestling. One of the legends of wrestling, Hulk Hogan, has died. According to a report by TMZ, medical personnel were dispatched to Hogan's home in Clearwater, Florida early this morning. Hogan dominated the pro wrestling scene for almost 4 decades. He was the biggest name in a galaxy of stars during the sport's golden age of the 1980s and 90s, and is fondly remembered for his epic battles with superstars, including Andre the Giant and King Kong Bundy.
Hulkamania extended beyond the ring, with Hogan appearing in Hollywood blockbusters like Rocky III and 3 television series as well.
Yeah, the wrestler's cause of death was reportedly a cardiac arrest. He was 71 years old. The WWE says it is saddened to learn of Hogan's death as well. And many people here in Waterloo region have fond memories of Hulk Hogan too. We're going to hear from some of them coming up in the next hour. And still ahead, a grant for growth. The money helping the city of Waterloo plant 10,000 trees in the effort to keep the city green, coming up.
It's Jeff, KP, and Backstage Ben in the morning.
3 awesome people that want to start your day or finish your overnight shift.
You'll laugh, you'll text, you'll call, you'll scratch your head, and maybe even beat Backstage Ben. Weekday mornings from 5:30 to 10.
Listen live on the iHeartRadio app or at 105.3 Virgin Radio.
In tonight's Digital Dive, a staffing shakeup at Conestoga College. Several senior administrators are no longer with the college. The news comes as many unionized staff with the college are facing uncertain futures amid ongoing cuts. Read more about the situation on our website by scanning the QR code, downloading the CTV News app, or going to ctvnewskitchener.ca. And here's the final Channel 5 stories we're keeping an eye on today. Windsor police have made 2 more arrests in a massive whiskey heist. Police releasing this surveillance video of 2 suspects wanted for stealing $500,000 worth of Crown Royal back in May. 1,000 boxes were stolen on May 17th from a secured lot. The truck was driven into the county where the cameras picked up the load. A total of 8 people have now been charged in connection with the theft. A new report says Canada could shed almost 60,000 federal public service jobs over the next 4 years. The report by the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives predicts that tens of thousands of the jobs will be cut at the Canada Revenue Agency, Employment and Social Development, and Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada. The report also says that Ottawa and Gatineau are likely to lose the most jobs, but that the cuts will impact service right across the country. Canada's largest grocery store chain saw a big boost to its bottom line as consumers turned to local and discounted brands. Loblaw Companies Limited beat second quarter revenue and profit forecasts driven by strong demand for essential products such as groceries and medicine. Loblaw's retail sales climbed 5.4% year over year. The company says the Buy Canadian movement, sparked by the trade dispute with President Donald Trump, has consumers switching to locally made goods. The city of Waterloo is planting 10,000 trees in 82 locations over the next few years, thanks to millions of dollars in funding. They've received a federal grant of $1.9 million, then matched it to bring the total investment to $3.8 million for the project. The goal is creating a strong tree canopy throughout the city for the next generation.
There will be some boulevard plantings done where we haven't had trees in the past, if they're suitable width and location. A lot of parks are going to be used. And we've also done our cul-de-sacs, larger size cul-de-sacs.
Step 1 is making sure it makes it to the next generation. And step 2 is taking care of the ones that the last generation gifted us.
At 6, Ashley Bacon will learn more about the types of trees that will be planted and how they could help develop the local ecosystem. And finally for us, helping customers put their best foot forward is what a Guelph man does best. We first introduced you to the Cobbler last year after he saw a sudden surge in demand for shoe repairs. And 1 year later, he's even busier. Pablo Hatteritz is the owner of the shop and now has 3 employees helping him out. He says they're the reason he didn't have to close down again for the month of July to keep up with orders. So what's contributing to the success?
Typically, when the economy has gone down, we've seen kind of a surge in our business, which is great. When we resole a pair of shoes, it could be a couple $100, but if it's a good pair of shoes, they probably paid $500 for them. I started in my early.
He also competed in a prestigious competition for the world's top cobblers recently. Spencer Turcotte will have more on that and how he did coming up at 6. For now, we're going to send it over to CTV National News. We'll be back at the top of the hour. See you then.